It's just best if they're unconscious.
Hey guys, Adam Savage in my cave with a slightly different video than normal, but I'm really excited to share it with you. Recently, one of my all-time favorite YouTubers, Bobby Fingers, who we've covered on the channel before, Bobby Fingers reached out to me to collaborate on his next video. Bobby's next video is Fabio, the romance novel model, and the time he was at Six Flags riding a roller coaster and got hit in the face by a bird or a camera. It's not sure which actually hit him, but it bloodied his face. It's a very famous incident. Bobby is replicating it. And also, Bobby is interested in answering the question about whether Fabio was hit with a piece of camera equipment or a bird. And he asked me if I could build him a cannon that could fire ballistic gel birds at a Silicone Fabio's face. Reader, I did. We went down to Texas and filmed with the slow-mo guys. Look, ultimately, this was like a fantasy camp day for all of us. 3 YouTube channels who are huge fans of each other collaborating on a single project. And you benefit because there are 3 separate videos from this amazing collaboration. But first, let's head to Austin.
Not the weirdest thing I've carried into the hotel.
I have arrived in Austin. Behind me are the slow-mo guys and Bobby Fingers. Dude, I'm on a dried out waterbed of a quarry and it feels like home. It's, you know, just coming out here for a little bit of reconnaissance and being out under the big sky. Just, it feels like the old days of making the show. It's a lovely feeling. Tomorrow morning, we're going to come out here and set up the cannon, set up the Fabio, and get to shooting. In every sense of the word. Yes, every sense of the word. Ah! Keep the tire nice and inflated. Good morning. It is the morning of our experiment. The air tank and all the important stuff is loaded. I love that I'm in the slow-mo studio. That's Bobby Fingers. It's a really red-letter day. We're heading out to the quarry in a few minutes. Yeah, where we're going to start hurling some birds at Fabio. Those guys, Gavin had one. So let's talk about this cannon for a second. What Bobby was asking me to do was very much is part of my skill set. I have built dozens and dozens and dozens of cannons just like this. Air-powered cannons involving a reservoir of air, some way of releasing it quickly, and a barrel for propelling something. And the institutional knowledge I got over the course of doing the show is fantastic. I learned some really key things, like it's less about the pressure than it is about the length of your barrel and the volume of air you have moving into that barrel. It was really fun waking up those parts of my brain, and it was also really scary. While this is a fun thing, it's enjoyable. I really, really had a great time in Austin with the slow-mo guys and Bobby firing this off. But it is also a dangerous thing. And you can build one of these things and hurt yourself spectacularly with them. And as I was ordering parts and pieces and bringing them in and thinking through the system and making my lists, I was reminded of just how dangerous almost everything we did on Mythbusters was. And, you know, at first I was thinking that I could build this cannon and send it down to the slow-mo guys. And the minute I thought about that for more than a second, I realized I can't do that. I've got to manage this. I can't make something dangerous and then ask someone else to operate it. I've got to be the one in charge. And I'm not going to lie, Mythbusters was an entire machine devoted to doing weird stuff safely. There was 20 plus people on that crew. We're all pulling on that same rope. This was me alone doing this. And frankly, it's not like I felt unqualified. I just didn't have any check and balance. So I kind of spent a couple of weeks every day just spending this time asking myself what I'm being an idiot about, what I'm forgetting, what I might not know, what I'll need in the field to deal with unexpected parameters. For me, anytime I am working around something that is remotely dangerous, it is vital that I never forget that it's dangerous. The moment you do, that's when fate winds up and slaps you across your face. And I've had it happen enough that I remain in that vigilant frame. And I remained in that vigilant frame. I kind of knew this going down to Austin, but I didn't breathe a sigh of relief when we got that first shot. I breathed a sigh of relief when we got the last shot.
Just kind of with the top one. Bit of flex on it.
Yeah, well, no, it's actually, we can make it straight. We'll just probably shim the table a little bit.
This was my life. For 14 years, I did something like this almost every single week, like 45 weeks a year. I still stepped out here today thinking, oh, hope I can make this work. Hope I can get it across the line. It's never a guarantee. But Gavin and Dan, the slow-mo guys, and Bobby and his team have just been a freaking delight. It has been a genuine fantasy camp day for all of us out here.
So my first shot is just going to be putting a little lube in and firing it so I get lube coating the inside of the barrel.
You're going to pre-lube.
I'm going to pre-lube, so for that you'll want to remove this. Then I will, then I will dip the bird in the lube, the silicone bird, power this up to 60 and see what we get coming out.
Should we put him in
No,
for 60?
For 60, let's just fire the bird and see roughly where it goes. And can we do a 1,000 frames of that one and calculate its speed?
Yeah.
Great.
I reckon.
That's a good idea.
Oh, so we'll be calculating the mathematics and getting it to 70?
Well, look, here's my terror. My terror is lork boink. In which case, I'll shorten the barrel by 30% and see what we get again. In 3, 2, 1. All right, here we go.
If it gets stuck. Okay, so let's talk for a minute about this Goose. It is sort of the centerpiece of the experimental frame here, and it all starts with this. Bobby sculpted a goose and then made this beautiful mold of it. And it is a simple mold, but it reveals that one of Bobby's key bits of expertise is in mold making. And you show me a mold from a mold maker and I know a lot about them. This is just a Bobby Fingers artifact here in the shop. So he brought this over, he came to the cave, and together we cast up about half a dozen Ballistics gel birds. The reason in the video they look like they're different colors is because I was having temperature management problems with my double boiler heating arrangement for the Ballistics gel. I was surprised by how nostalgic I felt smelling melting Ballistics gel here in the cave. It's a vinyl-based product, so it's a common smell, and frankly, it brought me right back to Mythbuster days. We made half a dozen of these birds, and then I cast one last one in silicone. I wanted multiples. We didn't know if these things would tear themselves apart upon hitting the Fabio face buck, and this is the mission critical part of this video. We need to get a shot of the bird hitting Fabio's face. We want multiple iterations. That's why we went with half a dozen. And then I had an extra batch of silicone and I used that to cast one more bird, to have one that I knew would be like absolutely rock solid, never be damaged. We could use it as a last case if everything else went belly up. One of my favorite moments of Bobby moving around in my cave was within the first hour, he said, I need something. And I was like, and I was about to point and he goes, no, it's all right. I've watched enough of your videos. I think I know where everything is. And he really kind of did understand the full mapping of the cave. When it was time to do some painting, he was like, I know where the model paints are. It was really, really special.
Three, two, one.
So we just fired the first test of the bird, and there's Bobby retrieving it way over there. It exceeded any expectation that I had. I embark on this stuff. I literally didn't know if it was just going to go bork right out the end, but it flew, I'm going to guess, 75, 80 miles an hour. That's my rough guess right now. But this is gravy. Right now, all I have to do is tune how fast we want it to go. That was at least as fast as we needed it to go. So,
Oh, right.
70,
You can barely see.
74 miles an hour, is that right?
Oh, fuck's sake. Let me check my 62 inches in this
47 milliseconds. Yeah, that strikes me as,
Yeah, yeah.
that feels exactly right.
So did you just literally nail it? Yeah, I've got the same, 75 miles an hour.
Yeah, I literally nailed it on
Nailed
the first
it.
try. 75.
What a professional.
So we just did the math, and that very first test shot with the silicone bird came out to, the goal was 70 miles per hour, give or take. We got 74 miles per hour on the first test. I am very gleeful. I'm not proud because I was just guesstimating absolutely everything. It is marvelous happenstance that it all sort of tuned in beautifully. So we're going to set up and do a second bird. I'm going to go, the last one was a 70 PSI. It was a silicone bird that's heavier than the Ballistics gel birds. So this time I'm going to go to 40 PSI. I'm just guessing. We'll fire it into Fabio. If it's anywhere above 40 miles an hour, it's going to be just perfect. But we'll see. Bird into Fabio on 3, 2, 1. Structure held up. I feel like we're a little low.
It was a fascinating exercise for me to play with Bobby and the slow-mo guys in this framework. It was very much a return to my Mythbuster days. It felt like 1,000 days I've had on set with my Mythbusters crew. And the slow-mo guys they're veterans of shooting outdoors. They know what they're doing. Bobby was fabulous. The people Bobby brought were fabulous. It was a great day and a great crew. And it reminded me really specifically of how great that Mythbusters machine really was as an engine for building that show. Taking on so much of the mental load of an experimental methodology on my own reminded me to appreciate that machine that Jamie and I and Carrie and Tori and Grant had access to for 13 years. It was pretty cool. I've also loved collaborating with other YouTube channels, man. It is so funny because like we're professionals and we all output videos and we all have our own procedures. And whenever we get together, whenever any YouTubers get together, they share their process. They share their ideas. They share how it all sort of breaks down because no two channels are remotely alike each other. And we're also having like fantasy camp days. Like, I can't believe I'm here with the slow-mo guys. And they're like, well, I can't believe I'm here with Adam Savage. And all of us are like, Bobby Fingers, Bobby freaking Fingers. I know it's like, it seems like a lot of enthusiasm, but seriously, it infused this whole thing. The enthusiasm of all three channels and all three teams. Bobby's video and the slow-mo guys videos are both live, as is this one. I recommend you pause it, go watch Bobby's first, then watch the rest in whatever order pleases you, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers.